Welcome back to Hey Kentucky. Time to talk a few more topics now. And first up, just a disturbing and awful trend of violence in Lexington. Police have made arrests following a deadly shooting inside Fayette Mall yesterday afternoon, which killed 17-year-old Kenneth Bottoms Jr. and injured 2 bystanders. And the Frederick Douglass High School football team is mourning after former player Michael Proctor was killed in a downtown shooting Friday morning. Keith, I know we all were following it yesterday, what was happening at the Fayette Mall. It's just gut-wrenching.
I mean, all of this is gut-wrenching because we're talking about a lot of teenagers, not even 20-year-olds, teenagers being shot or doing the shooting. And I mean, it's just, it's hard to fathom that at that age, that's something that's going on in their lives.
I know. I cannot comprehend it, and I wish we could. I wish we could understand. Now the latest on the Breonna Taylor case in Louisville. The BreonnaCon event is set to wrap up there tomorrow following a weekend that included a free farmers market and 2 empowerment forums. Meanwhile, Attorney General Daniel Cameron says there will not be an announcement this week regarding his office's investigation into Taylor's death, despite rumors to that effect. And Keith, there may be some demonstrations that go on tomorrow in the city. But this weekend was, relatively uneventful.
Yeah, this group that kind of put this on says that they're going to be, going through town tomorrow, and says there may be some holdups in traffic and things like that, and that, it's almost like they challenged the Louisville Metro Police. I don't think it's going to get that bad. We'll see, but they just act like they really want to be heard and still be heard at the end of this conference.
Yes. Demonstrators rallied in Frankfurt on Saturday to show their support for the U.S. Postal Service. They say the organization is under political attack by the Trump administration, with mail delays making headlines this summer. Senator Rand Paul has also weighed in on the situation, saying the cash-strapped USPS should consider reducing the number of days it delivers mail to rural areas to as little as 2 days a week. Keith, I would think that would not make a lot of his constituents very happy, 2 days a week, just because you live in a rural area. I would not want that.
Well, I wouldn't mind just 2 days a week because then I don't get those bills as often. But that's a joke. It's a joke. All right. Yeah, I think they will be upset in rural Kentucky. But also, he came out and said that he thought that they could take away some of the people that are working there because they're not as needed. But I actually went to the post office. Don't go that often, but I did go today. And there was one person working in a pretty lengthy line that finally, eventually, a second person came. So I don't think that they can start giving up people just yet.
No. I literally never thought we'd ever see protests to try to keep the post offices open, but here we are. Canadian police have arrested a northern Kentucky man after he allegedly broke the country's coronavirus rules, leaving him facing a possible $750,000 fine and 6 months in jail. John Pennington is accused of violating Canadian quarantine acts 2 separate times while visiting the country in June. Americans are currently barred from staying in Canada during the pandemic. Keith, they can only cross in to get to Alaska. But these are
you gotta
serious.
take that direct route.
Yeah, these are serious consequences.
It definitely, I mean, this guy made a big mistake because, like you said, they're supposed to go straight to Alaska, and he evidently took the scenic route.
Yeah.
And then he also went through a park, which he wasn't supposed to do as well. So, hey, just went to see a little bit of the country, but now it's going to be a pretty big, hefty charge for being able to do that.
Shoot, $750,000, 6 months in jail. My goodness. That's a lot.
Yeah.
All right. More than 120 Kentucky Army National Guard members returned home from a year-long deployment Saturday, which was filled with emotional moments between the soldiers and their families, as you can imagine. But because of COVID-19, there were no ceremonies for the group, just hugs and handshakes as they got off the bus. Keith, I can't imagine coming into such a different world than when you left it.
Yeah, much different. And, while they didn't have a ceremony, I did see where there was one soldier who had the chance to, his family rented a van, and all of them were able to spend time together, the whole family, on their hour-plus drive back home so they could get to know him again. That's a really cool thing.
That is awesome. Welcome home. All right, tonight's wrap-up is next as Hey Kentucky continues.